The most important thing to understand about being a people pleaser is I have yet to meet one who didn't have narcissistic parents. And so, a lot of the suffering and struggling is because this personality is simply perfectly developed, and I mean perfectly developed if you look at childhood, to coexist with narcissists. The whole deal with being a people pleaser is to see the good in other people and use your analytical mind to explain the bad so you could always accept everybody. People pleasers walk around like there's good in everyone. And I'm so understanding. And understanding is like the get out of jail free card. The thing you need to know, this understanding, like when you're confused and you want to figure it out, it's literally the gateway towards emotional abuse because you live as if an explanation would make the abuse viable, as if there is one. And so if somebody's doing things to hurt you or their behavior is completely out of line, well, being interested in discussing it to figure out, what's really happening is completely irrelevant. It's the elephant in the room is the abusive behavior. You see, the idealization is part of, preventing the observable truth about the true nature of people so you can coexist with them. And that's what you had to do as children. And this is what blinds us. So when you see the good in someone, it's like you're looking for a reason to like them. And everybody can smile. Everybody can display happiness. Everybody can act kind here and there. And so when you attach to that and you create somebody in your mind based on your need to see the good in them, what you end up doing is analyzing the bad. As if the good is the real person, the bad, well, is the good person with the trauma from childhood, or they were drunk this time, or they're upset about something at work, or I did something wrong, I'm not meeting their needs. And so just trying to understand the behavior of these types of people is actually validating it. Why would it be validating just trying to understand? Because in trying to understand, you're creating a reality where it's possible that it's justified. You're saying, let me understand this to see if it's okay. No, it's never okay. You see, we were raised by narcissists, and so we live in a world of punishment. You see, they punished us for their own afflictions, and we had to feel guilt in order to preserve them as good people so we can stay attached and get our needs met. You became afraid of saying no, and you became afraid of showing your real feelings. Why would you do that? Is because they would get upset. You see, they're entitled to have good kids, and if you are upset, it's as if you're telling them they're bad parents, and so then they're going to be mad at you and tell you that there's something wrong with you. See, people pleasers get stuck after a discard in their mind thinking there's something wrong with them just because of the negative feelings of grieving and sadness triggering them internally because that's what happened as children. And so the whole construct of people pleasing is literally just a personality type for children to survive narcissists, where we project ourselves onto them, where we see the good in them, and then we want to empathize. And when we empathize with a narcissist, we use our analytical mind to create them as if we're like them and they're like us. That's like seeing the good in other people. We call that empathy, but it's not empathy. Real empathy is only for the people that are actually present. When you're actually present with narcissists, what you see is much of their behavior has no emotion at all. It's just an effort to manipulate to get their needs met because their emotions are so short duration and their emotions are always just a reaction from yours. So if you're feeling good, they can feel good. If you're feeling bad, it'll affect them profoundly and they'll devalue as a result. And they're always competing. Competition is in conversation. Your intervention in their life, trying to help them, is only going to upset them and violate their victimhood. It's hard to be a victim when you have a people pleaser, and so they got to destroy you to get you reactive. When you're being reactive, when the goodness in you has died, when the light has been extinguished towards the tail end of the relationship, you're right where they want you, in hell with them. So little voice in your head is the only thing they have. And so them telling you you're not good enough agrees with the little voice in your head, and that's how you coexist. And so the light's been turned off. You see, light gets turned off by negation, devaluation. All the efforts that go unnoticed, all the efforts that get you an argument, even though you did something really, really good and are told it's not enough, well, Eventually you quit. And by that time, you're so analytical and so full of pain that you can't process or let go because they don't allow you to communicate authentically. They don't want to hear it. They cannot be accountable and responsible for their behavior, and so you become reactive. So now you're driving checked out. Now you're reliving the relationship on the way to work and on the way home. You're sitting in the driveway hoping that he doesn't say something about the dishes in the sink because you'll snap. And so there you are, trying to figure it all out, trying to figure out where you went wrong. Where did you go? You lost yourself. You're not able to show up the same at work, and now your life is starting to cave in around you. It starts to look like maybe they're right. Maybe you did let them down. Maybe you're not the same person you were. Maybe you lied to them. Maybe you were fake at the beginning. So you start to feel guilt and shame because you're not able to show up. You just don't know why. Where am I? How come I can't be the person I was? Why am I different now? And you'll feel guilt. You'll think you have a mental health problem. You will. You'll think you're broken. You won't be able to do the things that you once were really good at. So it's going to be affecting you everywhere in life. And everything you are, everything you have has been picked apart. Your world's been transformed into darkness. And that's where they're going to leave you when they discard you. And the icing on the life destruction cake of a narcissist to people pleaser relationship is going to be the smear campaign, where they've already been undermining you to everyone that cares about you. So no one will see you the way you used to be. And that's what they want. That's what they want. And so, yeah, they'll break you in every way they can. And they'll enjoy it. And they'll be justified. And so, that's what there is to see. Is that there is no need to see the good in people. Not at all. And there is no need to walk around in fear. There's just the need to wake up. There's just the need to understand that you're not broken. There's nothing really wrong with you. That there isn't something about you. There's just some thoughts. There's just the ways that you had to adapt as a child. You had to tell yourself you were broken. You had to pretend it was your fault. You had to be guilty. You had to worry about making him happy because that was the only way for a small child. You were perfect as a child. You were perfect. And I wish I could show you just how perfect you are. Because you're a beautiful person. You're an angel. You deserve everything you want. And everything you want is right inside. You have all the love. You have all the light. You always did. You've been gifted and you just didn't see it. That you're an angel. You really are. You truly love people. I see it. I know it. It's the reason I get up and do this, because I know who you are. I know who all of you are. And I will just keep talking until I reach people, because I know what it's like. I've been to the same hells. I know the pain of it. I've had every single type of relationship, and I'm just using all of my experiences to share, because I know what the other side of it looks like. My life's not perfect. I'm not through all my challenges. But I found myself, at least. And that's the most important thing. If I had to do it all over again, knowing what I know now, I would have to do it again. Because the truth of the matter is, I never would have found myself. That I needed to see who I wasn't. That this was the only way. That I couldn't change really anything about it to become the person I was meant to be. Unfortunately, that's just the cross I had to bear. And it's a cross many of us have had to bear. But that's what has to happen in this world. That the good people need to wake up and start to see each other and find each other. The darkness has taken us. It's taken us away from ourselves and taken us away from each other. It makes everybody look the same. And if you're going through life, can't trust anybody, you're vulnerable because you're blind. So it's not about not trusting. It's not about not trusting yourself. It's about waking up. It's about seeing the truth. The truth that sets you free is you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You're perfect the way you are. It's just time to see it. And there's a way to see it. There really, truly is. There's something on the other side. I pray and hope you find it. You find your peace.